Take a look at your bathroom counter. If you're like most men, you have a graveyard of half-empty plastic tubs sitting by the sink. Each one of those tubs promised a natural, all-day hold, and each one delivered the exact same failure: hair like a crunchy potato chip, shines like an oil slick, or completely collapses flat by lunchtime. It is easy to blame genetically stubborn hair, but your hair is fine. The actual problem is a total mismatch between the chemical utility of the product you buy and a deeply flawed technique you use to apply it. This leaves us with a choice. Is achieving a professional, totally undetectable hold just a marketing myth designed to sell more tubs? Or does it require upgrading both the chemistry you use and your morning discipline? The effortless, cheap slap-on method is guaranteed to fail. Achieving professional-grade style requires trading that lazy approach for a precise routine and superior formulation. When you stand in the drugstore aisle, you are blindly choosing between 3 distinct chemical categories: gel, pomade, and wax. This quadrant chart maps product hold against visibility. Up in the extreme corner, we have cheap gel. It's essentially liquid plastic. It gives you a rigid hold, but it maxes out visibility, resulting in that dreaded, crunchy 90s helmet head. Then we have pomades. These are oil-based alternatives, offering medium hold with high shine. They work for a classic slick-back, but slip up even slightly in your application and you instantly look greasy and unwashed. Wax is the middle ground chemistry. It is engineered specifically to hit this target: high structural hold with a natural, matte finish that remains completely undetectable to the naked eye. But here is where the average user ruins it. A guy buys a premium, low-visibility wax, but he scoops it out and slathers it onto his head exactly like a cheap gel. A product's placement on the styling spectrum is completely irrelevant if you refuse to follow the strict mechanical rules required to apply it. To understand those rules, we have to look at the chemistry inside premium, luxury-class formulations, the exact type of compounds used by precision German stylists. Cheap drugstore gels rely on synthetic polymers. They create a harsh, brittle coating over your follicles. The second you run your hand through your hair to adjust a strand, that coating shatters, causing flakes to fall on your shoulders. We can see the premium alternative on this microscopic view of a single hair strand. A luxury formula utilizes a responsive matrix. Watch how the brittle plastic shell on the left cracks under pressure. Now look at the right. The responsive matrix bends seamlessly when you touch it, then snaps right back into place. Half of this matrix is built from natural beeswax. This compound delivers the raw, unyielding support required to keep heavy hair lifted vertically against gravity all day. The second half of the matrix is carnauba wax. It acts as the elastic connective tissue. It stops the beeswax from turning to concrete, allowing you to reshape your hair at 3 in the afternoon without losing your original volume. Achieving this delicate chemical balance, like the formula found in Dow wax, costs significantly more than a synthetic drugstore tub. You are paying for advanced chemical engineering, not flashy marketing. But paying triple the price for a responsive matrix only buys you the potential for a weightless hold. Your technique is the only trigger that actually activates it. Activating the matrix requires precise physical execution, and that starts with your canvas, the moisture level of your hair. Apply wax to bone-dry hair, and it will clump aggressively in one spot. Apply it to soaking wet hair, and you severely dilute the binding agents holding the matrix together. Professional stylists adhere to a strict baseline. Your hair must be exactly 80% dry. That is the only environment where seamless, invisible distribution can occur. Once the canvas is set, you have to follow the dosing rule. A microscopic pea-sized fingertip amount is the absolute maximum starting point. The amateur instinct is to wildly plunge 2 fingers into the tub and pull out a massive scoop. Do that, and you overload the follicles, guaranteeing a heavy, greasy disaster within an hour. Now comes the mandatory activation step: kinetic friction. You cannot just spread the wax on your fingers. You must aggressively heat the paste between your palms until it melts entirely, leaving nothing but an invisible sheen. If you try to save 30 seconds in your morning routine by skipping this friction step, you will instantly turn a luxury chemical matrix into a highly visible, unmanageable clump on your forehead. Even with perfectly activated wax, men still face one final massive point of failure: the geographical pathway they use to apply it to their head. The universal mistake is taking a fresh handful of product and slapping it directly onto the front bangs. The front gets weighed down and overloaded, while the back is entirely neglected. This heat map illustrates the counterintuitive secret of German stylists. Application must absolutely begin at the back crown of the head, working slowly forward toward the forehead. The mechanical logic is simple. You deposit the heaviest structural support at the back where your hair is thickest. By the time your hands reach the highly visible front, only a faint, light residue remains to highlight the style. For maximum vertical lift, professionals add one final synergy. They apply the wax to damp hair and immediately hit it with a blow dryer on medium heat. The heat forces the responsive matrix to lock into a lifted state. Combining this strict back-to-front pathway with controlled heat is the definitive dividing line. It separates an amateur's collapsed mess from a professional's gravity-defying architecture. To decide if upgrading your routine is actually worth the investment, we need to look at this decision matrix plotting your budget, morning effort, and desired aesthetic. If you are looking for a quick and dirty solution, a slicked back look in 5 seconds, and you don't care if it looks natural, avoid premium wax entirely. Buy a cheap pomade and move on. If you are time poor and your absolute priority is zero mid-game maintenance, the financial cost of a premium wax is justified, but you must dedicate a strict 60 seconds to the proper prep and application. If your ultimate goal is a modern, textured, and utterly undetectable hold, investing in a luxury responsive matrix is not optional. It is a mandatory requirement. Think of this as a daily return on investment calculation. You are permanently trading 60 seconds of rigorous morning discipline for 12 unbroken hours of total aesthetic reliability. Continuing to treat your hair care as a blind, one-size-fits-all grab bag guarantees nothing but a lifetime of frustration and wasted money. Let's look back at that graveyard of hair products sitting on your counter. They aren't inherently malicious products. Most of them are just mismatched tools, ruined by severe user error. Here is the uncompromising truth. No premium product, regardless of its luxury price tag or German engineering, possesses magical properties. It cannot fix a bad haircut, and it certainly will not override lazy application. You pay a premium price strictly to acquire a superior chemical matrix, but it is entirely up to you to supply the technique that makes it work. Mastering a consistent, disciplined routine with a high-quality tool is the only proven method to permanently escape the cycle of bad hair days. The tools are available. The execution is on you.